Hello, welcome once again to Pale Blooms and Beyond. Thank you for joining us today. If you do like the programming you see here and the musicians and artists I visit with, please be sure and hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Tom Mawhinney is a Canadian folk singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. He began busking on the streets of Vancouver during 1976. After university, Tom practiced as a psychologist and music therapist for a time. He released 5 solo albums during the 1980s. In 1992, Tom embarked on a 10-province tour with 40 appearances. Fast forward 8 years later, and Mr. Mawhinney began singing in choirs. That lasted for 20 years. He currently lends his voice to 2 choirs. One, a jazz ensemble, has even won a community choir award. Tom has rekindled his songwriting muse and just recently completed his 6th studio album of folk style material entitled Living This Day. The album will be released in February or March. And my guest is still performing as a solo artist, specializing in small audience house concerts and raising money for his local food bank. Well, welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Greg. Good to be here.
Well, it's good. It's I say that every day. It's good to be here as I get older. It's,
That
it's nice
goes
to
with
still be
living this
alive.
day. You just
It's,
quoted living this day.
that's right.
Take
Well,
advantage. Carpe
that's
diem.
right. That there you go. I like that. Well, take us back to the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Toronto.
Okay. Okay.
That's not true. I was born in Philadelphia, but I've given up my U.S. citizenship, so I now say I was born in Toronto. We
Oh,
moved to Toronto when I was 7 because of my
okay.
family, but
Okay.
I became Canadian in 1976, and then uh, you guys may or may not know, but your officialdom doesn't accept my swearing allegiance to the crown in 76. So I had to go to the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa and pay $3,000. And now I have a certificate saying I'm not an American citizen. I'm only Canadian now. So
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware
it's
of
an
that.
oddball business, I'll tell you. But anyway, there it is.
It is. I've been to Toronto a couple of times, and then also to Vancouver. Those are
Uh-huh.
my visits to Canada. Yeah.
They're
Yep.
both Toronto's too big, but Vancouver's so beautiful.
Oh,
Toronto's in a good spot too, and
it,
lots to do. Yeah, very alive, both of them.
yes.
Won't catch
I
me
still,
there though.
right. I still want to visit Montreal someday. I'd like to.
You should. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at least as nice as those other two, but learn a few words in French before you go, like merci and
That's right. That's right.
bonne nuit. There's
They're
some easy ones.
they're very proud of their French heritage there.
Well,
Yeah.
they're protecting it. They're a minority, and their French is an official language in Canada. I'm bilingual,
Yeah.
but most people are not, and the French speakers are very sensitive about their language continuing in the country because from Manitoba West, there's not that much, though there are pockets,
Yeah.
but they're very protective. And I lived in Quebec for a half year, and I love it. It's a bit more alive than English Canada. So, yeah,
Right.
and very alive for folk music though too. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Exactly. I've heard it's more the architecture and everything is more European. It's
well,
yeah.
Quebec City is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Montreal is a modern city, but Quebec City has a bit of older neighborhoods, but Quebec is a star for that in the world. It's very
Yeah.
beautiful, and they've really preserved the old feel.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not that's nice they have.
If
Well,
you go to Quebec, you should go see Quebec City too, then, not just Montreal.
not just Montreal. Okay. I will keep that in mind. Well,
Resolve that now.
there you go. There you go. Well, do you recall your early childhood growing up? Was there music in the house?
Holy mackerel, there are songs. So now that I've divulged that I was spent 7 years near Philadelphia, I was in choirs then, and I can remember songs that we did. So my new choir here is going to be singing Vive la Compagnie,
Oh,
which I think it's anyway. I remember that. I went to meetings with my dad and we sang that. before I was 8 years old, and it's in my head. I remember lines that aren't in the version we're going to do, so there's
Oh,
no question about it. And
yeah.
I didn't encounter it after that, so it's fantastic, really. We, my mother, I have to attribute to her my getting started because my grandmother, her mother, lived in Florida, and we used to motor down every year in the station wagon, and we'd be sitting in the back singing to my mother's ukulele playing on the trips down and back up again. And yeah, I'm not sure when we quit that, probably when I was 10 or something. We kept going, but we weren't doing that singing. But that was really pleasing. And I remember those songs too,
Wow. Did
Wouldn't
you
sing
did
them.
right, but you can
Like,
remember that from that time period. Did you happen to lay in the back in the window in the back seat? Did you ever while your parents were driving? Did you ever in between
well,
the
we
back
set
seat?
up the in the back of the station wagon, you could fold down and we slept there because
Oh,
often we
yeah,
would drive
right,
20 hours or whatever it is that my
right,
parents would spell each other driving. So yeah.
right, right. It was yeah converted to
Well, and we
that.
count the license plates or, how many states can you identify? And
Yes.
there were special totem poles and whatever sort of monster sculptures and stuff that we would see every time, eat at the
Oh,
same restaurants every time. It
we
was
used to we would
ritualized.
play those road games and yeah.
Stuckey signs and
Oh,
horn signs. Yeah,
Stuckies.
yeah. I don't think we ever stopped at them, but we watched for their signs.
I like
And
those
Burma
yeah,
Shave
Burma
series of
shit.
signs.
Right, right, the advertisements. Yeah.
Those were the
And
days.
and the truck stops eat and get gas. I like
Yeah, yeah.
that. All in the same, one in the same, right, right.
All memorable stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, uh, can you remember one of the first singles or albums that you got yourself?
Oh, well, here's another one for remembering things because I can hear Mr. Sandman. Is it the Andrews Sisters? Or I'm not sure who sang it, but boy, I can hear it in parts even. And I
Right.
know that's from when I was in the States and home with my mother before I started going to school. So that's in my head. I think I remember my sister telling me about the Beatles, uh, and I don't think I owned any albums about that time, but very shortly after I started getting Beatles albums,
Okay. Okay.
and I know them inside and out, eh?
It was the Chordettes.
Oh, is
Did
that
the
so? Wow.
Mr. Sandman, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But that was a
lovely
good,
singing.
yeah.
Lovely
Oh yeah.
singing.
Oh yes, nice harmonizing there. Okay, yeah, Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah, that's got to be the first on all so many musicians list. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Well, what was the first instrument you learned to play?
Well, I took piano lessons, and then as I hit high school, I got a banjo. And then it was a four string. I guess that's a tenor banjo. And then somehow I switched over to guitar. And a friend in my class showed me the first few chords, and then I just sort of took off, if you like. I swore I would never do bar chords because they were too hard. But eventually I overcame that.
you you overcame. All right. Yeah. Did you ever play a ukulele?
Well, my mother did, but for some reason, so I know about it. My dog has fleas, but I don't, I didn't, she was the musician for that, and I didn't really pick it up. Do you have a friend who sang on my albums in the 80s who was an amazing ukulele player, Randy Helmers in Toronto? She backs me up on my albums, and she's worked with all kinds of age groups and using music therapy as well. So I know it's really adaptable, but I think I'm hung up on the sound of the guitar and whatever, I'm
Right.
skilled. I like using my skills.
Right, right. I've heard doing these interviews, a lot of them start out on the ukulele. I
Oh
guess
yeah,
it was affordable, it was cheaper, and then they
right.
graduated to the guitar. So
Well, how old would I have been? 20 years old or 21? I rode a motorcycle down to the East Coast and I had a guitar strapped on the back of it. A cheap guitar, mine. So,
yeah.
because I didn't want to jeopardize something, but I didn't, oh, I did. I had a Southern Jumbo. So I
Oh,
left that at home and bought a Raven, I'm pretty sure. And it made it all the way.
It made it.
down to the East Coast and then down to Philadelphia and back up to Toronto again.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Maybe that was your guardian angel, the guitar, you
It may have been, may have
know.
been. Luckily it wasn't on the motorcycle when I drove out off the road into a ditch. Couldn't get
Oh,
it out.
oh no.
I
Oh
was
no.
That was in Breton Island in Nova Scotia. And I didn't realize it, but it was at the main crossroads or corner of Scottsville, Nova Scotia, and all the neighbors knew about it before I woke up the next morning. Yeah.
Oh, did they? You know, that's how embarrassing. I mean, you're more embarrassed than you are, upset, I think. Something like
Well,
that.
I broke one of the grips, but a fellow
Oh,
knew how to weld white metal. So
yeah.
it was a rural community. Everyone would laugh, but everyone was on my side too. And so they linked me up with the guy who could fix my grip. Yeah.
Good, good. You got that fixed. Well, can you remember one of the first live concerts that you attended, that you went to?
Well, I'm not much of a concert goer, but
Okay.
I looked through some of the people you've interviewed before, and I did go see Tom Rush, and I talked to him, and we went out for a beer actually. And then here's another one because at the beginning I was learning to fingerpick, and I was I emulated Doc Watson. So besides the Beatles, I might have had Doc Watson albums before I had Beatles albums. And
Okay.
so I learned Doc's guitar and I went to a small club, I think it was called the Ace of Spades in Toronto, to see Doc Watson, very small venue. And I talked to him after and he let me use his guitar and play Doc's guitar on Doc's guitar. So I didn't
Oh,
play
yeah.
as well as he does mine, but very cute. And what a sweet guy. And the same with Tom Rush, really personable and engaging. And, you know, it's great. Those really, well, Doc Watson, I might have been 18 or 17 even. Tom Rush, it was quite a bit later. I don't know if I'd done any albums or not, but oh, I think I had. Usually I would take albums to people because I met the McGarrigle sisters here in Canada too. I don't know if you know of them, but
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
very smart, very good musicians and writers, really good writers. Anyway, that's so those, and I went to a Stan Rogers concert too much later in my life, but I did go to a Neil Young concert too, but
Oh, did you?
that's about the whole list. That's about it. So
Okay.
Doc Watson, then Tom Rush. Anyway, that's my set. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I was really surprised when Tom was up for doing an interview. He was one of those. I said I'll reach out to him, but I doubt he'll want to. But yeah, you just never know, do you? You
Good
know?
guy. Good
Yes,
guy. You
yes,
know?
he really
It,
is.
it isn't that way with the people who become well known, but
Yeah.
it's so nice to know some are still human beings.
Yes. Well said. I like that. Yes, some of them are really more down to earth. They really are.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you mentioned some influences. What was the music scene around you like as a teenager?
Oh, well, I got together with friends in high school. We had a trio and there was a I sang in Yorkville too, which is a place in Toronto which has become really exclusive and expensive, but it used to be where the sort of low-lifers lived. At that time, it wasn't this, low-lifers were okay at that time. They weren't all drug dependent and stuff. And so I did sing in one of the clubs there. Of course, no one came, but it was, that's sort of a feather in my cap in a way I mean, no one would even know about that scene now, but in
Yes.
those days, there's another thing that's sort of I did university in three stints. So I did 3 years, then I took off 2 years, then I went back and got my master's and took off 5 years, and then I went back for my doctorate. But in that 5 year period, no, in the 2 year period, I lived in what was known as a free college in Toronto called Rochdale College. And what it really was a drug haven and underground. It was really underground society. Some intellectuals and stuff, people who were helping to run it, and It got purged of the bad drugs just before I arrived. So there were really bad drugs. Well, that got knocked out. They because it was destroying the building and the whole initiative, because it was an experiment. It was an experiment. Anyway, I became the locksmith there, and I was very active musically. I bought a set of drums there that I had down in the basement of this 18-story building. And that's where I learned my drumming. I learned that from a next door neighbor in Toronto as I was growing up, but I picked it up pretty easily there. So I played some things. There was a music scene then, and I think I was 20 or 21. So that was very active. And I wrote my first songs then.
Okay.
Here's an interesting thing. This is astounding to me. I'm now, I went through to find all my lists of songs that I'd done over the years. And darned if I didn't find a file that had about more than 50 titles that I'd written by the time I was 21, and only two of which I had any association at all or memory of what they were. If I looked carefully, I could probably remember some more, but I just glanced over it. But I was astounded because I thought I started writing when I was doing my first albums, but that's not true. I wrote dozens of songs before I got them up to the grade where they merited doing a recording. I
Oh,
was astounded to find that sheet, though. Just amazing. Yeah.
oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice to go back and revisit those. Yeah. You know, speaking to a few Canadian musicians, they talked about Young Street. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the longest street in the world, I think. It's the street running up from Lake Ontario, going due north, uh,
Yes. Yes.
up to heaven knows where. But
Yes.
that is the Young Street is the main street northwest, north south in
Right.
Toronto. Yeah.
Right. And how vibrant the music scene was there. You know, they talk about that.
Well, I wasn't. Yorkville was really the center
Okay.
when I was growing up, and
Yeah.
it became more sophisticated as a city. So you might have been talking to younger guys than I am. That's
Okay. All right.
I suspect that.
Yeah, they could be. Well, how did you begin as busking in Vancouver?
Um, well, that 2 years when I was away from university, um, a good friend of mine, Lloyd Pepper, who I played with on and off for years. He's a bit shy, he doesn't like being on stage, but we did 2 or 3 years early this decade, at a friend's place. Now, I'm losing my thread. What did you ask me?
Oh, about busking,
Oh,
the
yeah. So
streets.
Lloyd, this friend, I was living out in what's known as the county. It's a county that is in the south, uh, the north bound of Lake Ontario, very beautiful county. And he suggested that I buy an auto harp. I knew nothing about auto harps. And so we went together to some house in the county that was selling one. I bought it. And darn, picking it for me is just as easy as picking the guitar, although you never hear it. But
Yeah,
anyway, that was something I started collecting, mostly traditional songs, and I got a repertoire of maybe 60 songs. And I'm trying to remember, I I might have started the busking in Vancouver, but I might have sung. I think I did. Yeah, I think I started that in Vancouver. And
okay.
I went to Europe in '78 with a choir, and I sang in the Amsterdam flea market and the Paris flea market and the
Yes,
Nice in the Nice streets of Nice and the
yes,
towns near Nice. So
yeah,
it was a it's more portable than a guitar. And anyhow, the auto harp was the trigger for my doing street singing. Again, people had never heard one before for the most part, so it was good for my income. And I really loved it. I mean, just getting out and, being up front there and doing what I do. And there were some adventures too in the marketplaces and the flea markets and everything, but it was it was really a fun gig, It was
yes,
always fun.
yes, yes. You tend to associate that sound of the auto harp with folk music, you know.
Right, traditional, it
Yes,
really suits. I love my repertoire I mean, some of it's about mill workers and there's a
right.
good French There's my new album has one French traditional folk song played with the picked auto harp. So,
Yeah.
I still have that. I'm doing a concert on Sunday, a small audience concert, 22 people, and I do auto harp every house concert I have because in a small room, it sounds so great, and
Yeah.
people really respond to it. It's a hook in a way. It's
Right.
for performing, it is a hook.
Yes.
Even for the most part, no, I'm really, you'll be asking about this maybe later, but I want there to be some substance in a song. I want it either to be really traditional or I want it to mean something. I don't want just fluff, And,
Yeah.
so that, but the auto harp traditional stuff really does hook people into listening closely. So it's a great side act because, of course, well, I'm always singing some of my songs. In a normal house concert, maybe 25%. This Sunday is a pre-release because tomorrow I'm supposed to get the finished songs
Yeah.
for the new album. I'm going to hold it till the release
Oh,
date is now March 22nd,
oh,
but
it's March. Okay.
I've
All right.
set it up. Yeah.
Okay.
But the auto harp as a side instrument is wonderful because everybody likes the sound of it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Well,
yeah.
you mentioned the house concerts. I've talked to several musicians that have been doing that. So it's a nice gig. And it's more intimate. You know, and I
And
don't
we're
if
in,
you take questions after, if you interact with the people there.
I
Yeah,
love talking to people. Like the one, I only just got started on it. I guess I did four last year. But then the fourth one was I'm now really doing a series to raise money for the food bank. So it's a different thing. You pass the hat and I don't really need the income at all. And I do want to do it. So now I've hooked up with the food bank. They're going to be the food hosts for this Sunday. And it's going to be simple, but that encourages this talking together with people. And and that's one of the nicest things about it too. So the one I did 5 weeks ago, I didn't know anybody in the audience except the woman whose mother was the host, and it was a wonderful social afterward. And we're doing less of that, and there aren't that many house. It'll probably come back if people start learning to play instruments well again, because darn, lots of I hardly ever listen to anything, but I don't hear much in the way of sophisticated advanced instrument playing.
yeah.
That seems to have gone on a slump, but I don't know. Sooner or later, probably it'll come back if you like.
I hope so. I hope so. Things go in cycles, so hopefully that
Yeah,
that will come back. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with you. I'm with you on that. Today must be my day for interviewing folk musicians because I talked to a guy this morning, and he plays sometimes the harmonium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's another one with a nice atmosphere. Kind of creates that atmosphere.
yeah, yeah. Well, it tickles you and it's lighter than the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's a real alternate that gives you a bit of whatever variety in the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, talk about working as a psychologist and music therapist after graduation.
Well, that was my real career. My tour. So I graduated in '86, and I was working with preschoolers, and they're for 2 years I worked exclusively with preschool kids with problems, and that was my favorite group. That was my favorite group. Then I moved to a job where I was working in a residential center with 16 beds for teenagers and 16 beds for school age kids. And I did music groups with both of those residences, and it was kind of unbelievable because the kids said they hated everything at residence except for music group. So, I mean, and I'd be testing some of them. I'd be giving them some formal tests in psychology and doing interviews with their family and everything else, and, making recommendations about what to do with them and so on. And it gave me a huge leg up in that they already knew who I was, and it wasn't just walking into some guy who's asking all these personal questions or whatever, but they knew me, and well, and I used the material there too. For the younger group, not so much, just getting them involved, and they loved to try the auto harp, and they loved being the host of the group, and they loved doing solos, and same with the adolescents. But the material, I did teach your children with the adolescents and other message songs. I focused on that, and
Yeah.
that's sort of like sneaky therapy. You're giving them a tool if they can understand it, So that was really, really great times doing that. I really, really enjoyed those settings a lot. It was a lovely physical setting too. It was right on Lake Ontario, with parkland around, and it that those were really good settings. One was called Beech Grove. Well, the preschoolers, it was the therapeutic nursery school, and then it was Beech Grove Children's Center. But they both had wonderful programs too, including um, recreation. The recreation therapists were fabulous. The nurses on the team were fabulous. And then we had a multidisciplinary team with everybody on it, a psychiatrist and speech therapist and physiotherapist and on and on. It was really, and we'd have team meetings about these kids where everybody was there at the table working on how to move the kids forward. Wonderful, wonderful work. Yeah.
I imagine very, very satisfying work, and to see the progress with the kids, like you said, and
Well, and what we said was every kid and people would come in saying, fix this kid for me. That wasn't what we did. We had people come in and learn how to parent. That's really the most
that,
common of the
right,
things that turned
right,
up.
right.
But we used to say every kid who came in went out in better shape. So it was too expensive. It got closed down eventually, which to our regret. But while it was up, it was really an amazing, amazing service. Yeah. Then I
It,
moved to a community service where I did all-purpose work. And then while I was doing that, I did the work with pediatric oncology at the local hospital as well. So and I did use music therapy with those kids individually, and not maybe 15 or 20% of the cases, maybe even less than that. So I didn't get to do it that much. And at the community service, I don't know if I did use it a tiny bit, but I sort of got out of that just because it wasn't the right setting. But at the hospital, it was wonderful uh, to work with the kids who were in treatment for cancer, this and that sort. Wonderful. That what they said, and there's research. The quote I'm about to give you is from a research paper, and there hasn't been that much research in music therapy, but lots and lots of people understand that what this paper said was it lifts the kids out of their problems into a space where they're unaware of their problems for a little bit of time. And it's to do that, that
right.
is good for the soul. It's very good.
It It is. Even me myself, music to me is an escape, and
Yeah.
I think we need it in these times we're going through. We desperately need something like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
feeds the soul. It's to me, music is the highest art form. It has been all my life that since I started getting into it. But yeah, it does have that healing effect. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the music itself. I mean, on my new album, I have a very short little essay. But it's good just to be together and sing together and harmonize together. That's good for you physically. And then if you're doing material that's meaningful in an intellectual sense too, has messages that you can carry, what a rich, rich gift that is. So yeah, I agree totally.
Yes, I think ancient civilizations created a lot of them created music before that language. It was just
Uh-huh.
that rhythm of the
Yep.
civilization. And it just devolved in or evolved into music. And so it's fascinating. That's why I like folk music so much too. The traditional as well.
Yep.
Back to that.
Yep.
Well,
simple
yeah,
forms,
yeah,
but good solid rhythm and melodies that are pleasing and all these elements that have kind of got drifted away from um, and and it's all there, that powerful, more simple stuff. That's sort of my medium though too, because on the album I'm playing guitar and voice on, I don't know, four maybe, and then of the other seven, I've added drums to one and bass to probably four or five of them. And but anyways, still pretty simple. Yeah. Folk
yeah,
style. Folk
yeah.
style.
What is the acronym? Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah. There's
Well,
something to it. Yeah,
there
that
is
works
something.
a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
Don't complicate matters. Well,
No
well.
need.
How long had you been writing the songs that would appear on your first solo album before the album?
Well, that came out in 80.
Yeah,
And so I'd written all of those in maybe the 2 or 3 years before that. And then I did one every 2 years. And the fifth one was just a cassette. I didn't do the pressed album. The first four, we were still using vinyl.
yeah.
And then I did that fifth one in 1988, I'm pretty sure. And then I was doing kids' albums at the same time because I have three. My group was called Zucchini Alley. And
Yes, I like
we
that.
that evolved, that group. I was the key member, but we had three and then four and then two and then one. I
Oh,
kept doing it after. There might have been 10 years where it was a group and then it became a solo act. But I did a gig last summer at the university here for kids and it went very well. I can still, but I wrote all that stuff too. I think it's 27 or 28 songs that I
yeah.
think are really good. I mean, those would compete with anybody's kids' material. They're just invisible. No one knows about them because I never did promotion.
No promo behind it.
I didn't,
Yes,
but I mean, yeah.
yeah,
Trying to get your stuff out now is so different. But
yeah,
in the 80s and or 70s and 80s, 90s, all that stuff of the commercial forces just
yeah.
shaping who gets to succeed and who doesn't.
Yes, yeah,
I've always detested that.
yes,
It's
yeah.
business getting its nose in where it doesn't belong.
Where it doesn't belong, it doesn't
Yeah,
belong.
that's another thing I say on this little essay on my new album.
Uh,
Music is not an industry. Music
right,
is
right,
not an industry.
right. No,
Hello.
no,
Yeah,
it it
it's
it it should have never devolved into that. No,
it has
no.
become something that's out of there's so little originality and stuff that comes
Yeah,
out. It's all like
yeah.
pablum,
Right.
to my
And
ear anyway. So
right.
yeah,
And like you said, those that are making the decisions are not the creators. That's all backwards to me. That's
yeah, yeah,
who's controlling the money and everything. It's
yeah.
not it's backwards.
I'm
But
totally of that mind. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and so many musicians I talk to are in the same boat. Exactly.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah. If you do it, you know it. And
right,
if you
right.
don't, you might be buying the people who do it.
Hey, there you go. That's right. Very good point. Uh, well, all of your 80s output was released on Calliope Music, and that's your own label, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's not it's whatever you call it, mythical. It
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
really exist. I mean, my studio is called can I even Meadowlark Studios, but it doesn't exist either.
Yeah. Okay.
Just yeah, that's my front, but
Oh, okay.
there's no money behind it or there's no address. Those are just what I made up.
Okay. That
I
was a
love
writ.
seeing Calliopes, those, God,
Oh,
I've only
yes.
heard maybe four times in my life, but I'm crazy about them. So
Oh, yes. I do too.
Calliope is a good
Yes.
name for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was the original AI back then. With
Well, yeah, yeah, I guess you can say that. Yeah. Program it to do something and it does it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I wanted to mention a few songs that I enjoy. Well, one of them that led me to you, off of the Await the Time album, your first one, "Come to Me for Comfort."
Yeah.
I still think of the material I've heard from you. That's still my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it is well, it's sensitive and it tells a story and I taught field astronomy for a year up north too. And one of the lines in that is the jeweled harp is ours to hear again. And that's Vega in Lyra. That's what that's talking about. And you can go out any night in summer and see that star that I'm talking about. And it yeah, that links it. It was right around then that I was learning the astronomy, the field astronomy stuff. So in other words, what's in the sky, not any kind of technical stuff. But that's not, it's interesting because in that song, it's talking about that. And even now, still, what is this, 50 years later or something? I'll be talking on Sunday about how everyone used to know all the constellations, and no one in a city has any idea that they're even there. But the
Right.
gods are there, you know?
Right.
I mean,
That's
geez, that's
that's
something
right.
we've lost touch with.
Yeah.
So, and that's an element of that song for me, you know? And
Yeah.
and in fact, no, so this is amazing. I never thought of this before. But in one of my songs on the new album, the stars speak. So the stars speak, and it's
Yeah.
a lovely ending to the song. But that's what happens in that song too. In Come to Me for Comfort, you know, um and something they talk about weary times for men. That's the stars speaking to us, you know? So
Right.
isn't that fantastic? Because
Yes.
really, one of the strongest lines in this new album, the stars speak. The last thing they say is, your life is a bridge between two eternities. That's the last line of the song, and the
Yeah.
stars are saying that to us. Whew.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
can you
That's
tell I'm
good.
excited about it? Anyway,
Yes. Yes. Well, you should be. Yes. Yes. I like that. I like to.
I
Yeah.
never made that link though to the song from my first album to
Uh-huh.
right in this conversation. I think that's
Is
so,
is that right? Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's what I'm here for. See, I'm an instrument. I'm an instrument to help you to reconnect, tie that back together.
yeah.
I'm glad I've been of service to you, Tom.
The other thing about that song though is
Yeah.
that I know I'm too arthritic to play it. So people ask for it, and I say, you know what? I'm sorry, but I can't do it because I
Yeah.
just I can do almost 95% of what I've always been able to do. I can do, but that one's too hard for me. So
Oh,
I feel
okay.
sad about it, but there's not much I can do.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, but you're throughout. The songs that I've heard, your guitar playing is really top notch, and your vocals to me are very soothing. That's the
Oh,
way I can define those into
thank
my
you for
words.
those compliments. That's very good.
Yes, yes.
Very good of you.
Well, the other track from the first album that I like is "I'm Leaving You." That's
Oh
a
yeah. That's nice picking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yes, yes, it is. Yes, it
I'm
is.
quite sure I wrote that. Darn, I wonder. I thought I wrote that when I was down east, but I'm not positive now. Uh, and I'm sure I wrote it for somebody and I don't remember who it was now. Oh well.
That's all right. Now you may hear from that person. It's like, how dare you? You don't remember me? Right. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
No, I doubt it. Well,
40.
well, right, that
Yeah.
many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, from Lucky Be We, Lucky Be We, Pastoral. Uh, really,
Yeah.
really nice.
I call that pastoral. Yeah,
Oh,
pastoral.
Pastoral, yes,
Yeah.
Pastoral, yes, Pastoral, yes.
That's neat. We have a guy, and he's coming to the concert on Sunday,
Oh,
who
is he?
started a music store. This, he's a really great guy. Gary Mullen is his name, and he was told in school, this is a classic story. He was one of the ones where the teacher said, no, don't sing so much, keep back, because they were saying you didn't. So he started a music store and it became whatever, Kingston's like 120,000 people. It was the main music store in Kingston for 40 years, let's say. So
Yeah.
he, that's his favorite song of
Oh,
mine.
is it? Is it?
Isn't that
Okay.
funny? I wonder, yeah, I'm not accepting requests at this particular concert, but I am trying to get people to host a concert. And if he would host a concert, he's got a house that would do it.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to pick up that song again because I haven't played it in a long time.
In a
I
long
like
time.
it too, though. It's a nice song. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know you've probably heard this many times before, but your baritone and word phrasing in this song in particular recalls Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard. You sing the way you sing, and there are only so many voices that people know. And
Yeah.
so, that's inevitable because others have said I'm like Stan Rogers, that's when I
Okay.
did my tour, there was a guy who was saying, "Hey, you're just like Stan Rogers." Well, no, I'm Tom Mawhinney. And anyway,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. And I know that, the influences will seep in inadvertently. It's not on purpose, You're
Oh,
not,
but I played some of his songs, yeah, because he's
yeah.
a great writer
Oh,
and
yeah.
good musician. Yeah. Did I go to a concert of his? I did go to a concert of Bruce Cockburn too.
Oh,
I'm
Bruce
trying. I don't
Springsteen.
think I ever went to a Gordon Lightfoot concert though.
Right.
But of course I knew, I owned his albums and so on. I loved him. I was proud of him
Yeah.
as a good Canadian writer. He wrote some fabulous songs.
Oh, didn't he? Didn't he? Wow. Sorry, sad his
The
passing.
Edmund Fitzgerald, eh? Do you know that song?
Yes. Oh,
Holy geez. I mean,
oh man. Tell me
yeah,
about it. Yeah.
top rate, top
Uh,
rate.
what was the first song I ever heard was Sundown. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah, he's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. Talk about working with, you mentioned this earlier about the Zucchini Alley. Talk about working with the Ryerson Spontaneous Zucchini Choir.
Well,
Uh,
there were three or four spontaneous zucchini choirs, a new one for each album, I think. And I'm trying to think, a friend of mine, I was in a choir at university, the Queen's University Choral Ensemble, and I was a ringer. I got dropped in 2 weeks before the trip, but in '77, we went to Europe for a month. And that, now am I losing the thread again? In Zucchini Alley, you asked me about, right?
yes,
But
Zucchini
how
Alley.
the heck did I get onto that? Oh, did I have? Oh, yeah. So a friend who was in the bass who stood beside me in that choir mediated the zucchini spontaneous zucchini choir for me in Toronto. So he was a teacher. He got the link, and I went and trained the kids in the songs, and then we did it. Went to a local studio and recorded that. It was the same for each. There were three Zucchini Alley recordings, one, two, and three, and I did one in Ottawa, I did one in Kingston, I did one in Toronto, and he was the first, I'm quite sure. And so he organized the one in Kingston was really nice because it was another teacher friend of mine, and they picked kids who weren't doing so very well and needed something to pass a feather in their cap.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
darn that, I mean, each time it was just charming to work with the kids in the studio. And that was that was a little music therapy, little routine in the middle of doing a kid's album. Because they again love to do the solos and love to do the responsings, and it really was good. They did fine. They did fine. I have the least memory of the Ottawa one. I'm not really. It happened, but I don't know. It sort of like disappeared in my memory. I don't have much, but I did. I love my kids' material. I think it is amazingly good.
yeah.
There's that songs that still work now with kids. Sort of. I think my audience was 9 and below last
Mhm.
summer, and work as well as it ever did.
Wow. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. That I wonder if that zucchini is that like a subliminal message to get the kids to eat vegetables?
Well, listen, one of my songs is the breakfast song. So
Uh-huh.
it lists and then there's another one, The Weirdest Thing is a
Yeah.
great song about what's the weirdest thing you ever did eat? So you ask your
Yeah.
aunt, your uncle, your mom, and your dad, and they all give something. And so one of them is shark fin soup. Ugh! That's what the kids do, each verse. My,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they love doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wonderful. That's their participation in their line, and they love doing it.
Roasted seaweed snacks. Yeah.
You might as well say that. I mean, I'll put that in next time I play it.
Okay. Keep that in there.
Seaweed snacks, that really works. That really
Yeah.
works.
Right. Okay. Well, moving on to the Nurture the Spark album. There's a couple of tracks off of that that I like. Into Your Heart with the pedal steel guitar. I like that.
Yeah. Well, and I remember who that was for, because that was a real girlfriend. And that Yeah, that one it has nice memories for me, nice memories for sure. And that was Ron Dan on pedal steel, because he
Yeah.
played on the album before that too. Keep Your Feet is one that has, and darn, he was good. I mean, I'm not a sophisticated. I just go. I rent a studio and go in, and I happened to one. The fellow who ran my studio for my first two or three albums is still working, and he's at the top of the recording world in Canada. He travels all across the country and is recording the top bands that appear anywhere. Doug McClement, nice guy too. Um, anyway, he got Ron Dan, and I only I only met him in the studio, but I know, bingo, he got things so fast, and I just love. He's the lead instrument in the songs that he plays in, and has a solo break and plays really well. Like there's one called Tom Findley's song where it's snowing, and he goes do 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 do.
Oh,
He
like
does
it's
a
snowing.
musical
Yes. Yeah.
symbol of, oh my goodness, so the guy, what a talent. He's died, I don't know, decades ago now,
Yeah.
but I was so pleased to have him what a privilege to work with a guy of that caliber.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I love the pedal steel when it's used in songs.
It's
Yeah.
really nice sound.
A nice sound on that. Well, now this is probably my second favorite of your songs. Uh, Second to Come to Me for Comfort is Ellie's Lullaby.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
that one brings
it,
a tear. That one brings a tear to my eye when I listen to that.
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful song. Yeah,
Well, in fact, now I finish every house concert with Ellie's Lullaby because I know, I mean, what a story, but it's for real, So Ellie is the daughter of my friend Lloyd that I was telling you about. And the Causeway is the one in Kingston over. They lived up in what used to be country and is now completely developed. But we used Lloyd's house and Ellie's future. Um, Nursery as the recording studio. So we set up in that room, and everything was low key, technically, but Lloyd's an electrical engineer, so he knows his stuff. And that first album was all done with two mics and one tape recorder, It was and well, I didn't, but that's Ellie's Lullaby isn't on that first album. It's on way later on, but that was my debt to Lloyd. I said, I'm going to write Ellie a lullaby. Well, it came on piano. Honestly, I cried while I was writing it. So
yeah,
yeah, it,
yes,
if
yes.
the nations allow you, that's a really good line. So yeah,
Right, right, right. We talked earlier a little bit about Tom Rush. Uh, the track "A Child Song." Do you know that?
I recognize the title, and I would can how does it go? Oh,
Oh,
that's Murray McLaughlin's song, isn't it?
is that a Murray McLaughlin?
Goodbye.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it
It's Murray
is.
McLaughlin. He's a
Yeah,
Canadian,
right. He is. He
Yeah.
originally wrote it. He originally
So
wrote it. Yeah.
sure, I know that song. Yeah.
Oh, now that's one I can't listen without crying. That one really gets you. Really.
Remember, little sister, look ahead.
Right.
Holy,
Right. Yeah.
what
You know,
writing?
it is, and it's something. If you have children, that you all have to go through at one point in your life. But it's just that leaving the nest. It's like, oh, that is,
I can't live no longer with your fears, Ma.
yeah, yeah.
Honest to goodness, talk about something universal.
That is very universal, and just
Yeah,
just a yeah, definition of bittersweet. That
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, yeah, Murray, you're right. He did. Yeah. So he covered that. Tom
But
covered that for you.
yeah, but Tom Rush did a Joni Mitchell song, and I still do his version of it, Tin Angel. Uh,
Oh, yes.
he uh, he made a beautiful thing of that. Uh, I don't, I'm not sure I've heard Joni Mitchell's version of it, but I'm really stuck on Tom Rush's version of it. I think it's brilliant. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was a great one to come up with, but a really skilled guy, so skilled. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And what a voice as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what it really had too. Yeah. What a guy.
Well, in fast forwarding to 1992, you went on a 10 province, 40 shows on that tour. Wow.
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
and I'm not sure if you saw the title of that tour. It was the original Trans-Canada Anti-Commercial Direct Contact Foliage Spectrum Organic Acoustic Busking Tour. That was the
How do
name of the
how do
tour.
you remember all that?
I had little labels made up
Yeah.
that for that. I still have a few of them around somewhere. I think I see one even over here. Yeah.
That's got to be
But I
up
wanted
to
to be different, you know. I wanted to be
right.
different. But really, the thing that is the most potent for me now is anti-commercial, saying I'm anti-commercial in 92. It's not like I just come up with it. I just think, that whole business. But that was a scandal on that tour too, because I was on regional shows on our broadcasters and I was on national CBC shows. I got nothing for it, nothing. But I do have, I'm not sure where that song, what album it's on, but Habits is about the recording industry. And what I say about it is corner the market and then sell the breaks, and that's showbiz. And I haven't heard anybody say something that succinct to talk about how ridiculously crooked and manipulated it is. That's how I felt. That was in the 80s, that I wrote that. Corner the market and then sell the breaks.
Yeah.
And that's showbiz, you know?
Right. Right.
I think that's a good
In
characterization of it.
in a nutshell. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and that's from the 80s, I said that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but on the I would have sung that song on the tour too. That tour was amazing. That was
Yeah. Well,
I kept notes. I hadn't looked at my notes for many years. Well, ever since the darn thing. I found this 40-page typed record of what I'd done, and gee, that was fun to read. So yeah.
yeah. Well, any special memories from that show, from that tour?
Oh, so I went to Quebec where I started and did a house concert. And my friend was a home builder. He'd built the home where we had the concert. He was just finishing the room we'd had the concert in, a nice big, and neighbors and friends came and we had a great time. And then I was doing something with him. I think I was bringing in wood and I broke my thumbnail because I play with my fingernails, you know. And so, wouldn't you know, I'm just starting this national tour and the one thing I need most I mess it up.
You
So
burn.
I got a manicure. I don't know if I'd ever had one, but they built up a nail for me, and it lasted till nearly the end. But my notes say I had to have it done again. I don't
Oh,
remember, but anyway, I don't remember. I do have a dim memory of breaking it because you're thinking, "Oh my Lord, can anything worse happen?" You know. So
yeah.
yeah, that was. But what else? Well, I played in a club in Toronto that was one of the nicest gigs. I played at a school up in northwestern Ontario where the whole darn school was there, and it went super well, super well. So it was a mix of adult and kid uh, shows. And and my equipment got stolen in Edmonton, so I left the sound system in the car. I brought the instruments in, but I was too lazy to bring in everything. And darn if somebody didn't break into the car and take all my camera. So I don't have, I was on the marquee in Prince Edward
Oh,
Island, and my photo of that,
oh,
went
wow,
with the camera. So I
wow.
regret that. But honestly, it was, I, my insurance covered it, and I got a better system than I was carrying. So that
Oh,
was more up to date, So, and then I remember in Victoria, BC, on Vancouver Island, I arrived 1 minute late. It's funny, I learned that from reading my notes. I thought I was like 20 minutes late, but
yeah.
no. But driving to a gig and there's traffic problems, and you need to be there, and they're expecting you at X time. It said I was 1 minute late, so it wasn't. They didn't panic. It was a place called the Toad School, so it was a preschool thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
preschoolers are really flexible too. Like if you're programmed,
Yes.
doesn't matter if A comes before B, it doesn't make any difference. So,
Right.
but I believe that was the last concert on the tour.
Yeah.
Oh, but the beautiful places, and driving through the mountains. I did it by car,
Yeah.
except in Newfoundland. So it's an island off the East Coast, and I flew in there, and my notes say, and I remember this really well. Well, I had trouble getting the guitar on the flight, but then we were the last one to come in that night because the weather was too bad. But I remember the plane shifting over in both directions, like half a plane width, as we're coming in for a landing. So, whoo, that was memorable, all right. I
But
think. We lost power while I was playing in Newfoundland as well. I did two gigs there, and one of them, the power went out, and so I had to do a truly acoustic, performance.
You did.
Anyway, there were no disasters. There were no disasters, and really, yeah, very nice, fun feedback. I did some house concerts along the way, and
Oh, you did some.
yeah, it was just a wonder. It was, but I was essentially burned out when I finished. So there was an 8 year between 92 and 2000. I didn't really do much. And then I became a member. I'd been in a few choirs before, but I joined a choir then and then really launched into choir stuff. Because I've written 30 choir songs now too.
Okay.
And both my groups, I'm the new one and the one I've been in for a year and a half, they're performing my choir songs now. So I love that. Geez,
Oh,
I tell you.
I want to hear about that. I wanted to mention when you said Newfoundland. I talked to Pamela Morgan. This has been. Are you familiar with that name at all?
No, I'm
She
not.
was
No.
she was in Figgy Duff.
Oh yeah, well I know
Yeah,
that.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that. Yeah, she was the singer in that. And this has been probably 2, 3 years ago now. Yeah, that I visited with her. One of the few females that I've talked to on my
I
channel.
noticed that. I looked through
Yeah,
your list.
right,
I
right.
noticed that.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, you were starting to talk about the singing in choirs. How did that start? How did that all come about?
Well, that was really interesting. So I mentioned Gary Mullen, who founded and ran Renaissance Music here in Kingston. I live out in the country now, but I'm 40 minutes away from Kingston. But he 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 married one of my best friends as a co-worker at the hospital. No, no, at Beech Grove, Anne O'Riordan, and she told me that she had a friend who was recruiting for a new choir called the Voices of Joy. So I joined it, and we were a fundraising choir. We raised $1,000 a year for 10 years for this and that local charity. And after 5 years, the founding director left. And so the choir knew that I had some music skills. So they asked me to become director. So I said, okay, I'll try. Well, the instant I took over as director, I started writing for choirs. So I hadn't written anything for choirs ever before that. And then I think I had 15 or 16 songs, and I've written another 14 or 15 since. But in that 5 year period, bam, I was writing like crazy for choirs. And um, there on this new album, my small choir, the jazz choir, sings two of the pieces. Um, so and they're they're a great choir, and the songs are pretty good. There's a new song that they're learning now that I just wrote. It's on the new album, and it's called "They Only Want to Sing." It's about this jazz choir, and when I joined, I was telling my friends, geez, I can't believe how much of this stuff is sort of schmoozy, schmaltzy, gooey. And so the song is they only want to sing about romance. And
Yeah, yeah.
but they like it. So, it starts, I thought I found the perfect choir. I thought I found my heart's desire. So anyway, it goes on to say, but they only want to sing about romance. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a pretty smart, there's a lot of jokes in it. And they're wanting to learn it now. So I'm in the middle of arranging it for choir because I wrote it for the guitar, and it's a whole other thing to try and get
Oh,
sort of
right. I was going to mention that the
four
difference.
voices coming
Yeah,
in. It's a
right.
whole other thing. So, oh, it's hard work. Anyway, I'm in the middle because
Yeah,
I love they're doing my songs. It's great.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
having on March 22nd at the album release party, that choir is going to come and we're singing. I don't know if we'll do that song, but we're doing two others of mine and then a couple other favorites of theirs that they do. You've Got a Friend in Me, and what's the other one I'm going to ask for? And one of the schmaltzy ones, A Sunday Night to Love. But
Yeah.
the arrangements for this choir are so amazing. They're wonderful to sing with precision. It's only 11 singers. It's really, really good music. So they're it's pretty neat. I'm still bonding with the choir. I'm the newest member, only 15 or 16 months with them, and some of them have been there for 10 years. So I mean, I'm still the newcomer in a way, but It's
Yeah,
that's each concert. We've already done three this fall, and we have another couple coming up. So it's oh, I love singing with them. Love singing with them.
yeah, yeah,
So and I had written a few songs between 2010 when I stopped the choir conducting, and then 2020 or something. But I got a fire lit under me. And no, I don't know. I guess I can say this. Donald Trump has been insulting Canada, and threatening us. And so I wrote two songs, one in English and one in French, as a
yeah,
response to that. And
yeah.
that's what got me going writing on the new album.
Right.
Unbelievable. So anyway, the other things have nothing to do with that, but that
Yeah.
was a little spur to get me
Right.
back into this gear again. And
Right.
so now I'm doing both choir and solo. It's amazing at my
Right.
age to be doing something like that. I've sent out my Christmas message to people saying I'm in a renaissance. It just,
Right.
I'm now in two choirs. I'm doing a new album. Who can
Yeah.
believe this, you
Yeah.
know?
Busier now than ever. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
luckily I'm retired and,
Yeah. You have time to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that. Well, yeah. Speaking of Donald, the orange clown, uh,
right.
heads up Canada.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, I'll be doing that at this Sunday concert as well. Because I mean, you may not know. It's funny because Americans don't have much exposure to what's happening in Canada, and I mean we are unified in wanting to have nothing to do with somebody coming taking us over.
Of
That's
course.
really
Of course.
offensive to us.
Sure.
So
Sure.
the elbows up thing is,
Right.
get out of our face.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, that's
Think how Greenland's feeling right now too.
it just is, it's horrifying. It
Yeah,
really is unwarranted by
yeah,
any measure. But I
yeah.
think most American citizens don't want that either.
No, no, we
I'm,
don't.
you
No,
know,
we don't. No,
yeah,
we don't.
so
No.
people know what's reasonable and what isn't.
Yeah,
And the whole thing is the mechanism of your government isn't letting things get unwound enough to get that guy influence away because it's
that's right.
it's hurting the country. I'm
That's right.
positive. It's
Oh,
you
it
know
is. It is.
lots of consequences coming from that.
Right, right,
Not even begun to see what they are yet, but they're
right.
coming.
It's
And
well when he just surrounded this second term surrounded himself with sycophants.
yeah,
Uh, they're going to toe the line and whatever he says goes. So
well,
there's no guardrails now.
it's
And yeah,
yeah, in
yeah,
my title song, Living This Day, I say there's a vision that I've seen. It set my heart blooming,
yeah,
though the darkest clouds we've ever known are looming.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And what
Yes,
the third line is, it's
right,
that share and share alike could go pan-human. That's
right,
the verse,
right.
because that's what's not happening.
Yeah,
All this thing about income disparity,
right.
there isn't share and share alike, there isn't look after your own. And
No, no.
that stuff can't be missing from a society and have it work.
Oh
So,
no, no, and
yeah,
it's been getting worse and worse. Yeah, and their
yeah,
whole thing is the distraction. The whole thing about immigrants was a distraction from that. To say don't look at the oligarchs, don't look at the disparity in income. Let's blame it on this group.
yeah.
The
I don't think
minority.
I
Yeah,
have a lot of faith in things working out better than it looks now,
yeah,
uh, because most people have their feet on the ground and have a grain of sense. And no,
yeah.
it's not right. You cannot just pull people out of cars and shoot them
No,
and,
no,
hold them on the ground. That's
no,
not that's not a way to. And
no. Yeah,
I don't know if we want to go into this too far,
I
but I've
know.
said,
Yeah,
I've said like 8 months ago or something.
yeah,
There are two things that Hitler had that Donald Trump doesn't have.
yeah.
One is he had courage because he was a World War I veteran
Right,
and
right,
blinded and he got his sight back, but
right,
he had courage
right,
and he also had a vision that people could identify with. So Germany wanted to come back from the
right,
place they were squashed into because of the resolution of World War I. So
right.
he had all the population kind of thinking, yeah, we want to get back. Well,
Yeah,
Donald Trump has no courage whatsoever. He's a
yeah,
complete coward,
yeah.
and he has no vision that people share. So
No.
he's deluded.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, that's going to catch up to him, I say.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it is.
don't know how. But,
Yeah,
so I'm an ex-American ranting
yeah.
from Canada who's just been
Hey,
threatened.
Hey,
That's my rant.
well, well, I wanted to hear briefly about the new album. You've talked some already about it. You said
Yeah.
March 22nd. You said.
That's the release date. Yeah, I'm having a party and I'm almost sure it's at a we have a local it used to be a Quaker meeting house. It's a beautiful little red brick building where we have a community. This is a rural community I live in. It's called Moscow, and this lovely little unit of a building, we have 24 people each month put on a breakfast, and we serve 150 people. This is a rural community. Like we're what is 5 miles from, I was going to say 8 kilometers, 5 miles from the nearest hamlet. And we have a breakfast that serves 150 the first Saturday of each month. So that's where I'm going to be doing my release party. And I'm thinking of I'm on Facebook now. I've only been on for a year. I'm getting used to it now and sort of trying to wean away a bit, but I like it. I like it does serve some purpose for me too. And so I've got whatever it is, 100 and some friends. So I'm going to be posting, they're mostly locals and a few from other places. But I think I'm going to say, you know, the group is called the Martello Alley Cats. That's my small jazz choir. So they're
Okay.
coming to sing a half dozen songs. So I'm going to say, here's a mini concert to celebrate the release of my album. The admission optional 6 cookies. So I'm going to
Okay.
see. I mean, I have cookies in the free. I eat a cookie a day, so I might be
Okay.
able to if I get people to come and bring cookies. And if I say optional, then it doesn't, not everybody. You don't have to, but
Yeah.
it would be a way of being a perk for me, for
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
mini concert cum social.
Did you see the one cartoon? I think it was going around Facebook for a while. It's like the Cookie Monster sitting in front of his computer, and the command said delete cookies, and he's like torn. He's
Oh,
like,
that's great.
I don't
That's
think I
great.
can do this. I don't think.
That's
Yeah.
great. Boy, we need more characters like him around, or his
Yeah.
colleagues.
Yes.
They need to come back.
Right, right. Well, you did say the city correctly, Moscow, Moscow. Uh,
Moscow, yeah.
I hate it when I hear people say Moscow, Moscow, because that's not. And somebody said one time, they said there are no. This is how you know how to say it. There are no cows in Moscow.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
well, it's funny. I studied Russian in high school for 2 years, and in Russian it's Moskva.
uh-huh.
So this is I live in a
Right.
unique spot. It's called Moscow. It's
Yeah.
not the same, it isn't the
Right.
same as the
Right.
real word for
As
this
the real.
location. Yeah,
The
yeah,
real pronunciation, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, we'll talk a little bit. I kind of skipped over the growing your own vegetables.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
Well,
But
so when I retired from psychology, um, I'd worked on farms my whole life. I love farms, and I never planned it. But within 6 months of retiring from psychological work, I had bought this 150 acres. Now, there wasn't a home on it, but there was a hunt camp. So I used that as central control. So this was in 2009. And I started making plots to grow vegetables. And I was commuting by motorcycle from Kingston every day I could to work because I'm used to be an athlete and I'm physically fit. So I'm doing a lot this post-retirement work and to grow vegetables. Well, darn, 3 years after I'd been doing that, the house I'm in here, it's now 202 years old. It came up for sale, and these people were my friends. And so they offered it to me first because I had the adjacent land.
oh
And
yes.
so I came in and walked through the house, and I'm just in love with it. So we negotiated a price, and I bought this home. Well, the soil back at the hunt camp, it's half a mile back, was really heavy clay and just took tremendous work to get the beds. Well, the soil at the house is beautiful, workable soil. So I now have 1,800 square feet that I work by hand here at the house, and I keep up the other 200 at the back. And so the last I grow for the food bank, and it's untreated vegetables. So my own diet is the best I've ever heard of. I only eat my own untreated stuff. But the last 4 years, my average is more than a ton hand-treated, untreated, hand-tended vegetables to the local food bank. So there, and in fact, so this Sunday, the concert proceeds go to the food bank too. I'm really on board with trying to support them. So what a story, though, to find the earth here is
Yeah.
really easy to work. I'd been struggling for 3 years. And anyway, holy. So
That
things, I don't know. I'm starting to get noticeable physical limitations, but so far I'm able to keep it up, and I want to keep it up as long as I can, of course, you know.
as long as you
So
can. Right, right. That was an omen. That was a sign that that's the right house, like you said.
holy mackerel. But what, oh, it's a wonderful
Yeah,
old house. It's,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of my neighbors have pretty old houses that they totally gutted and made into this open space thing. Well, I haven't made, I put on a metal roof and I chopped down trees in my own woods with my axe, and those are the floors on the first story. But it, so that was my bonding with the house. But the beams in the basement, that are immense, those are the same woods where the floor that I just put in came from, because there was nothing here
That's
when they
neat.
built this house, nothing.
Yeah.
So and one family owned it through 5 generations, and the sixth generation grew up here. And I'm friends with one of the guys, the other one's down on the East Coast, but there's one who's a neighbor who grew up in this house. And I got to know his aunt super well. She lived beside me. She's now in a home, but for probably 5 years, I had lunch with her really often and learned the lore of not just the house, but the neighborhood. So it's yeah, what a wonder this place has been as a retirement home and activity. Yeah.
Right, right.
And
Well, real
and
quick.
productive though. You well, I don't know. I sent you, I think, a photograph of my harvest one day
Yes, you did.
in
Yes, you
August.
did.
I think you put up photos for people. Put that up here because I'm
Yeah.
so proud of that. I just think,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
You know, which vegetable you grow is the easiest and which is the most difficult?
Oh my. Well, I've had trouble with cucumbers. They need a lot of water, and I had a deer eat my cucumber bed last year too. So that doesn't count against
That
cucumbers.
doesn't count. Okay.
But they don't eat. See, I don't even fence my tomatoes or potatoes or green peppers or eggplant, onions, squash. I don't put those
No,
in fences because the deer aren't interested in
they,
them, but
they
I
all.
know they like cucumbers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's one. And I grow basil really well.
Oh, that sounds
I
good.
can't really grow zucchini because the bugs are too bad. And
Okay.
then it seems to be fussy about where it wants. One year I had really good, but that's out of whatever it is now. I mean, this is whatever it might be, 16th year or something. And only one year did I have really good zucchini. It's not funny because, yeah, zucchini alley doesn't work here. But yeah,
Right.
I'd say that's the hardest.
Okay.
I you have to be vigilant. So I'm out every day, but we have what are called tomato hornworms that are amazing. They just eat, once they
Mm,
get on the plants, they eat everything on the plant, but you can spot them. They're very well camouflaged, but they're also very big. So I get those every year, but I nail them. Within 2 days, I have them not doing much damage. And
yeah.
I do get really good return. I get my tomatoes really grow. I mean, really, I could just in summer, I used to eat tomato salad, Greek salad every single night for years. I don't anymore, but for years I did because
Yeah.
they're so great.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds fun. And
Yeah.
that's a good cause too. Like you said, donating those to the food
Uh,
bank. Yeah,
it's, looking after our own.
that's right. You know.
Those people are my neighbors and my friends, and it's learning to share. We don't know how to share.
Yeah. No, you're very, very true. Very true. And hopefully we can learn from that, from what you're doing, and maybe some people here in higher places can start learning from that. We'll see. We'll
So
see.
you can't say that my being a psychologist and have me not respond with this,
Yeah.
and that is modeling works. I mean, modeling is how children learn how to be humans, and
Right.
it's the same with your models of leaders of countries. They
Right.
have to model positively. You can't model, it just you can't enable people with
No.
really dark, nasty stuff. It's
Right,
wrong. So,
right, right. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Tom, again for doing this, and I will cut out the political
yeah,
sidebars.
whatever you do, I don't feel exposed. I'm in a different country.
Right, right. Can I come up there? Will you adopt me? Can
Oh,
I
hey,
come?
I've got a big
Right.
house here. You're welcome to visit.
Right, right.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much,
yes,
Greg, for
yes,
tracking me down. And I love having people like my music. So it's
yes. Oh,
very nice
it's
to get your compliments too. Thank you for that.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. And I've collected so much of it over the years. So the more you do of something, the better you are at it. So my ear has, I think I'm tuned in to, good music. So
That's great.
I know it when I hear it. So,
That's
well,
really great.
well, let me know. Keep me up to date. Keep me posted after the release. And
Okay,
I'll follow you. On Facebook too, and
right.
anything that you want to send me or keep me abreast of, just let me know. And all the best to you. I want to say that.
That's just great, Greg. All the best to you too. Thank you so much.
All right.
Great
And
to
I
chat.
will I will send you a copy. One more thing. I'll send you a copy of this probably next week this time after I edit out, the parts of it.
Whatever you want to edit out. Sure, that's fine. Yeah,
And
great.
then
Well,
it'll be on.
but go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm happy with how we've done it.
Okay.
You don't need approval from me. It's all
All
okay
right.
from my point of
And
view.
it'll be on my channel, and then I'll send you a copy too. So, all right.
Dynamite.
All
Dynamite.
right. All
Thanks
right.
so much, Greg.
You're very welcome. Bye bye
Talk
for
again,
now.
maybe. Thanks. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.